All right. Today is July 1st, 2026, and this is my session. Or, sorry, let me take this filter off. That's deceptive. This is my session. So, a lot of P&L volatility you can see. Um, there's two big things I want to address in this review. One is the frequency of losses. This is an account killer for me. Luckily, I was able to pull it back today, but it wasn't easy. Like that was a knife fight trying to get that P&L back. Um, but I mean, if I could go back and pull up each day that I blew an account, it would look like this, where it's just like boom, 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 rapid losses all at once. That's problem number one I need to address. Problem number two is um, reversal trades are a key to my system. Reversal trades arguably made up the bulk of my P&L in June. They were working super well. Um, but there's environments where it doesn't work and where continuations work. Um, so if I filter for reversals, you can see it's pretty much straight down. I didn't have any real good reversals today. Whereas if I filter for continuation, straight up, they're almost inverse. They're almost exactly opposite of each other, which sucks because when you inverse up and down, you end up flat. Um, so if I pull up the chart for today, you can see that we were pretty much just grinding upwards the entire session. Because this is the opening candle right here. That's 9:30, and pretty much until 10:20. So for the full hour after the open, we were just uptrending. And I was fading that. I was taking a lot of reversal trades. Now, granted, my size is smaller on reversal trades. I trade um, no more than 5 lot micros on reversal trades. Today, I was trading 3 lot micros, which is stupidly me trying to justify it as like, oh, it's only 3 lots. It doesn't really matter. But it adds up quick. Those 3 lots add up quick when you're taking just rapid, quick succession losses. Um, but continuation trades were working awesome today, and that's something we'll see in the review. Let me close this tab. We don't need it. So let's jump into the recording. Um, First couple trades were reversal trades, and to be fair, this does look like a pretty good reversal area. We shot pretty much straight down off the open. I'll turn up the volume so you can hear me talking. If I talk at all, I was pretty quiet today. So this is the first trade. You guys won't be able to see my execution because this is minis. My micro dom is off to the right. You can't see my micro executions. But this is 5 seconds before the entry, so I can tell you pretty much when the entry is. So we slip range. I probably get long somewhere around here, 1950, hoping for a reversal. I do like this setup. We had a big 500 lot seller come in at the low. He's now getting squeezed technically. So in the short term, he's getting squeezed because we did have a little bit of upward momentum there. However, we just made a lower high. We did go up here and make a, which is still a lower high on the 30 seconds. So you can see we came up, we made another lower high, and then another lower high. So in my opinion, I think this still does want to go down. It's easy to use hindsight and know that we did trade really high after this, but as far as this execution's concerned, long around this 1950 area, I don't think it's a great execution. So it looks like it goes in my favor a little bit. And then that's my stop. I probably put my stop right here around 1675. I get stopped out. So decent setup. Like it is, we have a good rebalance above us. We have that big 500 seller that was getting squeezed. However, I think I'm early on this execution. I should have waited until we made a higher high or a higher low, and there's confirmation that this 500 lot seller is being squeezed. So I'm going to mark this as entry early. I manage my risk pretty well. I'll do exit good on that. We had reclaim favor, we had balance favor, but that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of factors of support on this. And this was a aggressive hold. I think my entry's pretty aggressive buying the first pullback. Did have slip favor. My market read was in between. I had a few pulse checks, but they weren't great in total honesty. That'll be a yellow star. It looks like I attempt it again a couple seconds later. So this is, yeah, only about 15 seconds later, I try the same setup. Where's my entry? Let's see. My entry is 520. So this is going to catch where I get stopped out. So that's me getting stopped out. And then I think I impulsively go long again when it pulls back up. Let's see what happens here. You can see me looking over at my micro DOM. Did I get the execution wrong? Where's my entry? Entry price 520. Is this a duplicate trade? This might be a duplicate trade. Because I don't see my other entry. This was long at 520. This one was long at 520.75. Weird. Yeah, I don't know why. This might be a duplicate, so I'm just going to copy the tags and paste them into here because it's essentially the same setup. That is confusing though, because this shows MES 5 lot, MES 5 lot. Either way, we'll circle back to that. Either way, it was a yellow star trade. The setup was maybe decent quality, but it wasn't great, and the execution wasn't great either. So yellow star means that it might have been a good setup, but it was executed poorly. Next trade is also a reversal. This is 2 minutes later to the long side. So if I let it play for 5 seconds. So this is probably my entry right around here, 1050. Again, it's a decent setup because we have a whole bunch of trapped sellers here. But what are we doing? We're still making lower highs and lower lows. There's no confirmation that this seller's trapped. We do have the rebalance favor, we do have the reclaim favor, but I'm entering way too early. There's no confirmation that this seller's trapped, and I'm not on the right side of the V. I should be waiting for a higher high. Maybe we come down, test a higher low. Slip range developed. This seller is struggling. Maybe some bids are coming in. This entry's way too early. So again, I'm going to mark this entry early. I think I took almost a full 5 points, so I think that's staying too long, held too long. We do have reclaim and balance. Again, this is an aggressive hold. There's not really a slip range here, so I'm going to say slip none and market read. I'm going to say confused because I'm still attempting this. I'm going to red star that because the setup has not been confirmed. On paper, there is a setup here, but it's not confirmed. Next trade. This is a continuation short. So now that I've been stopped out fucking 3 times, I'm starting to think, okay, now we're definitely in a downtrend, which is a trap because as soon as you're like, oh man, I'll stop fighting and I'll join this trend, that's when it actually reverses, which looks like that's what happened. So there's a decent slip range here. We're defending these big sellers here. I think my entry should have been right here at 1075. I get 1050. This is a signal to get out because look at 10 even, we've got 50, 100, 200, 250, 275. There's 275 lots of buyers here at 10 even, or roughly 10 even. There's maybe 250 sellers above us. So buyers are winning right now. It's still decent because we're making lower highs, we're making lower lows, but there is kind of a downward sloping slip range here. So it's not a horrible setup, but I should have, or actually I do get out here. I flat key it for 1 tick. So that's actually pretty good execution. It was a good setup at the time of entry, but it was invalidated. So I'm gonna actually green star this despite it being a loss. Um, Entry was pretty solid, maybe a tick higher I would have liked to enter, but it's still close enough, good enough. Exit good because I immediately get out of it when I notice. And it's funny that I'm noticing that in review where I'm like, oh, I should be getting out. And then I get out. That's a good sign. That means I was paying attention to that in the moment. Good job, Chronic. We had slip range favor. We had trend favor because this is a very strong trend to the downside. We had a high node for support. And this is a pretty conservative scalp, in my opinion. So I'm going to green star that one. Next trade is also a continuation short. It's probably a try two of the same slip range. We defend the top of the slip range. And I think I take it at the mid of the slip range because again, we're starting to put in a buyer defense here. It's still there's still more sellers above than there are buyers below, I think. 250, 300. So if you do rough math, it's roughly equal. And I think taking it off at the mid is pretty conservative. So I'm going to green star that. Conservative scalp, slip favor, high node, trend favor, entry good, exit good. I don't want to hold this to the bottom of the slip range because we're defending so heavily. And just for shits and giggles, let's let it play and see. Yeah, I could have gotten the bottom of the slip range, maybe, but look what it's doing now. Now it's blowing out the top. Next trade is actually a long reversal, and it's one of my few winning long reversals. Entry is at 875. So if we watch, we test the bottom of the slip range. I can tell that there's kind of a shift here because we're defending the bottom. We've got a pretty decent amount of buying in the middle. These sellers, although they're defending, I have a theory that if we test that seller so many times, 5 or 6 times, they're going to give up and it's going to blow through. So I think my entry was right here on the micro dom. I get the fill. I think I stay in this one for how long am I in this trade for? I'm in this trade for 30 seconds. So I think I take it off right here around 14s just to be conservative because reversals have not been working for me at this point. So I just take what I can get out of the reversal trade. Obviously, in hindsight, we trade much higher, but that's okay. So I'm going to green star this one. I like this setup. Entry good, exit good. I can't really complain. In hindsight, I could have held longer, but at the moment, I was bankrolling. I needed a little bit of P&L on the board. We had balance favor because we've got all this red above us that we want to trade into. We've got reclaim favor. I was slip favor on entry. This is a pretty conservative hold. And I think that's it. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm gonna put mid or in between on the market read. Next trade. This is a continuation, and I take a loss on it. So I get that good reversal trade, and now it does kind of look like we're starting to put in a change in character. We're starting to get some green candles where we've formerly been all red. We've got some nice open interest balance below us. My first critique is this is an aggressive entry. I should be entering down here near like 1050. And I bet you any money, if we hypothetically say that we entered at 1050, this would have been a winning trade. So I get filled, comes back on me a bit. I flat key it, but let's say I entered at 1050 and I can hold through this drawdown because sometimes it does overshoot these. And you can see I try to chase it and get back in it. And I actually do, and I do get the good entry on the try too. And it works. So this first entry is going to be a red star. That second entry is going to be a green star. Red star, this is an aggressive scalp. Entry early. Exit is, I'm gonna put it red. We do have high node support. Where's high node? We have balance and reclaim support. I do have a pretty nice slip favor there and in between. So this one will be red star. I'm going to paste these tags into the try two. Make sure I tag it, try two. But this one is entry good because I get the more conservative entry. Change that to conservative. And I think that's pretty good. That'll be a green star. Trade 9. This is another reversal to the long side. So if we let it play for 5 seconds, my entry is probably somewhere where we're here around 10s. The reason I'm putting a reversal trade instead of a continuation trade is because, like, this isn't the greatest uptrend yet. Like, I do really want an uptrend when I'm taking continuations. And now we're sort of uh, like violating that idea because we put in a lower high, a lower low. But I still think there's a decent chance that we could reverse all of this move here. So they're two different setups. It's not a continuation anymore, but there could be a reversal on the table. We're still defending this high node here. We're super thin above. Like all those big offers have pulled now, so we're super thin, which is the path of least resistance. Um, Still looks good. I think my entry was somewhere around here, this 10 level. 1050. So yeah, I take that fresh high for kind of like a reversal scalp, sort of. Um, Decent setup. I don't hate it. However, I do believe I could have held more. Let's fast forward the video and see. Yeah, could have held a little bit more. So I'm going to put hold more. Entry was good. I've got balance and reclaim favor. I had a good high node support. This was a pretty conservative hold. It's actually a point to point because I take it off at the nearest area of support resistance. I did have slip favor on it. And at this point, I'm feeling pretty clear on direction. So I'm going to green star this one. Next trade is a continuation long. And yeah, I like this one. We're putting in an upward sloping slip range. We're defending this 1550 buyer. Very quick trade. So you can see there, I don't want to be more than 2 or 3 ticks away from the area that I want to see defended, and we did defend that area successfully. Excuse me. There's a little bit of confirmation that we're gonna take that back because there's a green candle here. I really don't like buying on a red candle. I want to wait for one green candle, and that's kind of a slip range tactic that you want to see. Is you don't want to be long on the way down. You want to be long on the way up. Um, and then I take it off at the area of nearest selling, which I think is a very conservative target. So that'll be a green star. Continuation, that was pretty conservative because I had the slip favor. Scalp. Entry good, exit good. We had a good high node support. We still had all that reclaim and all that balance above us. So reclaim, balance. Yeah, and I think that's it. Next trade is a small loss on a short reversal. I think my thesis here is that this is just a temporary pullback to the upside and that we're going to start toppling over. Obviously, we don't in hindsight, but I still think it was worth the attempt. I don't like how many bids are below us on this trade. I don't think that this is a good reversal spot, and that's probably why I take it off for basically break even. I think my entry's probably around here, this 1750 area. Goes a couple ticks in my favor, but more bids are coming in. They're starting to defend the slip range. Yeah, they keep rebidding the bottom of this. So maybe a couple points in my favor, but then I think what happens here is it slingshots right back up to my entry and I take it off for a small loss. So maybe if I was a little bit more aggressive on the exit, I could have got 2 or 3 points. But for a reversal trade on micros, I kind of want more than that. You know, like if it's a reversal trade, I want to see like 4 or 5 points out of it. So setup wise, I don't think this is great. I'm gonna yellow star it. Execution was decent, but I still think I'm early. So I'm gonna say entry early. Exit good because I'm glad I took it for essentially a break even instead of holding it. I'm going to tag this as an aggressive hold because I don't think I should be entering right here. Um, there's a little bit of a slip range here that I did have the advantage on. My market read is in between because I'm betting short, even though we are technically trending upwards at the time. Factors of support, I don't have a lot, honestly, which is why this isn't a great setup. So I'm actually going to change this to a red star. No factors of support. Next trade is again a reversal short. So this is the problem I need to tackle in my review today. Is like clearly reversals aren't working, but I keep reattempting them. That's something that's psychology. That's lack of contentment. I need to be content with the fact that okay, reversals aren't working. So how about we just focus on continuations? Um, where's my entry? My entry is 1925 short. So I can see why I justified this trade because it kind of looks like we did a V flush on the top end of this range. But again, we're still uptrending higher low, higher low, higher low, higher high, higher high, higher high. And the heat map is still predominantly green. So this is also going to be a red star trade. Yeah, 1925, I think I said my entry was. So I don't even have slip favor advantage. Yeah, I'm going to red star this one. In fact, I'll even copy the tags from the previous trade. Um, this, I think, is the second leg, or is it a reattempt? I think this is the try two. Try two, held too long. I actually need to change this to held too long as well. Red star. So I'm just going to take a minute here to try and absorb this information. I'm going to close my eyes and do a little bit of breath work. And imagine myself not clicking buttons. And imagine myself not trying to reverse an uptrend. So this is the first of many in a pattern that repeats itself throughout the session. I keep trying to take a reversal trade on what is clearly an uptrend. So I want to make sure that I actually absorb that lesson mentally instead of just saying, "Oh, I'll fix it next time. I'll fix it tomorrow. Tomorrow won't be as bad. Tomorrow I'll just force myself to not do that because we all know that doesn't work." Don't fade an uptrend. especially when it's such a solid, consistent uptrend like this. All right, next trade is a continuation long, and it's a loss. We actually run into a pretty nasty area of losses here. I think this is the point on my P&L curve where it goes straight down. Um, what did I just do? Am I on the wrong day? This is not what my P&L looked like today. I wish it did. What did I just break here? Oh, that's why, because I'm filtering out Red Star. There we go. So this area right here where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 successive losses, that's where we're at right now. That's what we're currently reviewing. So the next one is a continuation long, which granted is trading in the right direction, but something tells me this execution's not going to be great. So you can see me hovering on the DOM. I'm waiting for this 21 area. I take it. First issue I have with this trade, never buy the first pullback. It should be a slip range. And this is why I was doing slip drills the other week, is because I realized that whenever I'm buying the first pullback, it never fucking works. Maybe it does sometimes, and I feel really good about it, and it um, reinforces that negative behavior. But this continuation high node strategy that I have, it works so much better when there's confirmation of a slip range. Buying the first pullback, it might work sometimes, but it's so much better to wait for the second test of the slip range. That's the first problem I have with this trade. And you can see it comes back there. So I'm going to tag this as entry early. And I also arguably held too long. I think the first touch of that area where it looks like it's going to accept below, I should be getting out. So early, held too long. This was an aggressive scalp because I'm buying the first pullback. I think that's psychology that I have like FOMO that I'm going to miss this move. My market read is in between. I'm going to put confused just because I'm coming off of 2 fresh losses. And there's not a slip range here, slip none. I do technically have balance and reclaim above me, but that's about it. There is a high node, but it's not the greatest. I would like to see it test that multiple times before I take it. So this is going to be a red star. Next trade is another loss, probably on the same idea. Yeah, this looks like a try two of the same idea. So I reattempt it here. The problem with this, again, there's no slip range. And what I've noticed happens is when a buyer gets trapped or when a seller gets trapped, it'll fake it out. It'll look like it's coming to bail him out, and it looks like we're going to trade up, but then it'll just hover here. And I bet if I play it, it's just going to hover there, and it's not going to go any higher. It's just hovering on him. I need to see confirmation that we are trading higher above that buyer, and that buyer is holding the market up. Because when we're just trading on him and the spread is just bouncing around him, he's trapped, and he's probably going to bail, and he's probably going to turn into a seller. And that's pretty much exactly what happens. And I take a full stop on that one, which I'm not happy about. So, oh, I just cleared my fucking tags. Damn it! This was aggressive scalp, no slip, confused, continuation, exit early, held too long, balance reclaim, copy tags because this is a try two of the same setup, and it's also going to be a red star. Because there's no fucking slip range. There needs to be a slip range for these continuation setups to work. And I bet you any money, the further we go in our review, when I do start getting good continuation trades, there's going to be slip advantage. Next trade again is a loss for continuation long. And I'm trying it again. Man, that's a bad habit. All right, so I'm going to stop here. I'm going to do some breath work again. And I'm just going to try and imagine myself being calm, at peace, content with the trade going without me, because that's what's happening here is I don't want to see this trade work and I'm not in it because it's such a toxic mentality, and I'm sure you guys can relate, but it's like when a trade goes without you, it almost hurts more than taking a loss, and I need to reverse that. I need to taking a loss needs to hurt more than missing a trade. Missing a trade doesn't matter. You're still flat. You're still protecting your account. Taking a loss should hurt, and especially when you're taking a loss on a trade that's not working. So I'm going to take a couple seconds to breathe and imagine myself sitting on my hands and just watching this area instead of trying to trade it. I want to imagine the trade working, but I'm not in it and I'm okay with that and I'm content with it because it wasn't my setup. It wasn't a perfect setup. I'm okay with watching it go without me. And that it hurts. It hurts seeing those two losses, and it should hurt. Losing should hurt, and you shouldn't let it put you on tilt. You shouldn't let it affect your future trades, but it should hurt. You should avoid it. All right, so trade three is going to be the same thing because I'm reattempting the same idea. Paste tags, continuation, aggressive, no slip range, confused. This is a try three. Let's just watch it. Yeah, if anything, I'm slip against up here. I'm even going to tag it as such. Yeah, just not content. And they're clearly violating that buyer now because he was like 120 or whatever. Let's back it up. 134, and now it's 73, which means he's getting absorbed. And I should be taking this off for a 1 tick loss or a 2 tick loss. And now he's gone. So, lack of contentment for sure. Next trade, about 30 seconds later, is a continuation win. So if I just be completely objective and just ignore the fact that I'm over trading here, because this is going to be a red star, even though it's a winner, it's going to be a red star because I'm over trading. I'm attacking this area way too much. But just to be objective about the system, we have a nice slip range here. We are now slip ranging, and we've put in a new defense at the bottom of this slip range. It's a better setup. So I really want to hammer this in. If I didn't take these trades and I waited and I just waited to see how this area would develop, I would have nailed this trade. And instead of taking 3 losses and 1 win, I would have came out of it with 1 win, and my P&L curve would have been way better. Because this is a good trade, but unfortunately, my emotions were shot. I'm tilt trading arguably here. Overshoots a little bit, which is fine, but look, they put a new fresh buying on that overshoot. And I get a very nice move out of it. Like, if I had just waited for this setup to present itself, that would have been an incredible trade. So maybe I'll yellow star this one because it's a really good setup, but my emotions were bad. I was on tilt here. I had the slip favor. I was still confused because I'm trading in an area where I'm clearly losing. This entry is much more conservative because I have the slip favor. Entry good, exit good. We had reclaim, we had balance, we had high node support. Mm, and I would arguably call this a trend now. We're uptrending. So I'm gonna put trend favor on that, which is multiple factors of support. So I wasted my time and my mental capital trading these shitty setups when I could have just waited for this really good, arguably A plus setup. Um, I gotta break this horrible habit of FOMOing into a trade because I'm afraid I'm gonna miss it. Because I know something's there, like something's happening, but I don't have absolute clarity and I'm just clicking buttons. And I take these successive losses. And these successive losses, man, they'll kill you. I'm sure you guys can relate. Every one of you sitting in here right now, you can relate. These quick successive losses, that's tilt, and that blows accounts. I just need to wait for that clarity and that perfect setup to present itself because that is a perfect trade in my opinion. I have no complaints about this trade other than the fact that I was on tilt trading all that other bullshit. Um, still attempting reversals to the short side. I should not be doing that. We are clearly grinding to the upside. We've taken back this entire reclaim by now. We're pretty solid green on the high time frame heat map. We've still got balance above us. This is an uptrend. I should not be shorting here. But for the sake of review, let's watch it. I think my justification here is that we're hot green at the very top and now we're failing, but that is not a good setup because this is almost actually a perfect slip range for continuation. So my entry was probably right here around 30-50, trying to catch the high of the slip range. Let's fast forward a little bit. And I take it off there. But I do actually get a continuation long because my stupid monkey brain eventually realizes, okay, the reversal's not working. Let's look for a continuation long, and I end up getting it. So, red star the reversal trade. It's aggressive. Um, I do technically have slip favor on it, but I'm confused. My entry is way too early. Um, I arguably held too long. I should have been getting out when we defended the bottom of that slip range the first time. And I don't really have any factors to support. I still think, yeah, pretty much that's my brain at the time of taking this trade. We don't really have balance. We don't have reclaim. We're trend against, so no factors of support for this one. The next trade, which you just saw, is a continuation long. And I honestly think this is a really good setup. We've got a nice slip range here. We're bid heavy on the bottom, which is nice. We've got the trend favor. We've got some fresh bids coming in, and I think I take it at the top of the slip range. Maybe the mid. Could have got the top, but being conservative. Conservative scalp, slip favor. I'm going to put in between on clarity because I just attempted a reversal short, which means I'm not clear. Entry good. I'm going to put hold more on here just because I do think slip range highs was a pretty valid target. Trend favor for sure. We still have a lot of balance above us, and it looks like we're accepting into it. So I'm going to put balance favor. We don't have the reclaim anymore. We've already taken it back at this point. We also had high node support. So that looks pretty good to me. I'll green star this one. Actually, I'll put a yellow star on it just because I do think I could have held it a little more. And then guess what I do? What is this? 1 minute later, I take another reversal short. In the same area too. Like this still looks like a really good continuation long, and that's part of the problem with having two strategies too is sometimes I'm so focused on taking a reversal that I ignore the fact that we're still in a really good continuation area. Um, so my entry's probably around 31 short. I probably get about a point or two in my favor. We come out the bottom of the slip range, but it could just be V flushing that slip range. And I think I even say this could be range expansion. And look at this beautiful continuation long setup because we put in a slip range and we defended the bottom of it. There could have been an awesome long right here, but I'm so focused on the short that I'm in. And I probably take it out on this spike up here. So red star, fighting a trend. I don't really have any factors of support. This is an aggressive hold. Um, I don't even think I had slip favor. I had slip mid. My clarity, I'm still confused because I'm trying to shorten uptrend. And I'm not even going to focus on entry exit because, and I shouldn't be on red stars because a red star means I shouldn't have taken it. I shouldn't even be grading my entry and exit because I shouldn't have been in the trade. Next trade, a few minutes later, is a continuation long, and I take a loss on it. Let's see what happened. I'm buying the first pullback. There's not a slip range here. There could maybe be a slip range low here around 3150, and I can almost guarantee you if we fast forward, had I entered at 3150, there would have been a better trade. But let's just see what happens here. Yeah, I take it off there. And it might not pull back to 3150. But the point still stands where if I had waited even just 5 more seconds, so this is the first pullback. I long the first pullback. I should not be long in the first pullback. And because I chased, I'm slip against. Because we'll see here in a second, it comes back and tests the bottom of the slip range again. Where my exit is at 32 should be my entry because we've tested this slip range twice now. There's a history that it wants to support 32. And we have this nice big juicy buyer here. 111 lot, a 97 lot, a 60 lot, and then it pretty much goes all the way down. 32.25 long would have been a great entry. And it just goes. It just goes. So buying the first pullback is kind of the takeaway here as far as continuation trades go, is buying that first pullback is it's impatience, it's FOMO, it's lack of contentment. Um, so this will be a yellow star because the setup is actually there, but it's botched execution. Entered early. Um, I dare say hold more on this because I mean if I literally nailed the bottom of the slip range. Had I just waited for it, even though it's not a great entry, it could have still been a winning trade or a break even. This was aggressive because I bought the first pullback. I was slip against. My clarity's still in between. But factors of support are there. We got trend favor. We've got a high node. You can't see it on my delta, but I was asking Fat Cat throughout the session. I was like, hey, are we still taking back that big ass imbalance above us? And he's like, yes, there's still a lot of imbalance. So there technically was balance favor. It's just not pictured in my chart. What time frame? This one's 30 seconds, so it's kind of confusing. They're all 30-second. This is a 30-second chart. This is a 30-second chart. This is a 30-second chart, but they're set to different settings. This one is set to 15 minutes across stocks. So stocks are trading on a 15-minute interval and it's printing the price action, whether it's bearish or bullish. This one is a 30-second chart, but it's set to 3 minutes on stocks. So every 3-minute candle, whether it's bullish or bearish, prints on this heat map. This chart is also 30 seconds, but it's just bid offer pressure on stocks, whether stocks are majority selling or majority buying, which kind of gives you information as far as order flow, medium time frame price action, and higher time frame price action. If that answers your question. Oh, this one. That's a 3 second. Sorry, I thought you were talking about these ones. I always keep the 3 second chart on my DOM just so I can see slip ranges. That's really it. That's all I'm looking at on this 3 second chart. It's kind of similar to how Jigsaw has the what do they call it? Auction Vista. I prefer seeing tick by tick on each candle instead of just a plain candle because it kind of tells you where the specific tick is supporting and how, like whether we're trading up or down on that specific tick. Yeah, dude, I've used this for like 2.5 years, and I don't think it's going anywhere. It's kind of like how Fat Cat, he's used the Jigsaw Auction Vista for 10 years, and it's just it grounds you because you always have something that doesn't change. All this shit on my other monitor is always changing. We're always updating. We're always adding new indicators. This is always going to be the same. I'm always going to have this chart, this 3 second chart as slip range. So next trade is a reversal short, and I managed to get a couple ticks out of it. Where's the entry? Entry is 37. And I don't like this one either because we're still, even though it is technically a winner, we're slingshotting. We're bright green on the high time frame. We're pretty solid green on the medium time frame. Um, 37. So I probably get short right here on this pullback. Um, I think the reason why I took this trade was because of exhaustion. I'm like, oh, buyers are exhausted. We just pushed up so high. Now it might reverse a little bit, which is true in the short time frame, but reversals are a high time frame setup. I need a high time frame, high expected value setup in order for me to take a reversal trade, and this is not it. So if I fast forward a little bit, it comes back on me. This was hard to hold. And I probably take it off here because we defended this 192 down here. Which again, I mean, if we're talking continuation longs, I mean, I can see a couple good setups. Um, but regardless, this will be a red star, despite it being a winning trade. I should not be shorting an uptrend. I was slip mid. I'm confused. Um, Factors of support. There's not a whole lot, honestly. There's not even a really good reclaim because this trend is so grindy. Like for me to have a reclaim, it's got to be like a straight up move. Um, there is technically balance below, so maybe I'll take that. But other than that, I don't think there's any factors of support here. Um, Next trade, long continuation. It's a winner. So nice slip range. Remember what I said earlier about how this setup works really good with slip ranges? Look at this slip range. We've tested it once, twice, 3 times with nice buying at the bottom of it. It does struggle a little bit, but I mean, I've got the slip advantage, I've got the high note advantage, I've got the trend advantage. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable sitting in this trade for a little bit and high of the slip range. This is a perfect continuation setup. Green star, trend favor, high node favor. Again, it's not pictured, but Fat Cat keeps telling me we got balance above us. We're trading into that balance. I need to upgrade my indicators so that I can see those old balances. Entry good, exit good, slip favor, conservative. And I think I'm pretty clear. It's pretty obvious that we're uptrending. I think I'm pretty clear on that. I dare put an A plus tag on it because I just think that is a great setup. Next trade is a continuation long. but I only take it off for 2 ticks, and I think that's because I run into a little bit of trouble on it. Slip range advantage. This is still a slip range from the prior trade that I took. Um, it's not great though because it's kind of old at this point. If each candle's 3 seconds, that's almost like a minute that has passed since that last slip range. I would like to see a new slip range develop first. Um, but again, it's not horrible. It's not like I'm buying a huge flush. There is a support resistance here at 42. We're starting to absorb a little bit. There was a buyer there that's turning into a big seller. We do have a big seller above us too. It overshoots a little bit. I'm still comfortable with it though, because the slip range lows are still intact. And that's probably why I take it off, is because those buyers that were there, they're starting to get absorbed, and I don't like that. So I think I take it off on the next little upshove here. At least I would in hindsight. I'm starting to feel like I've been in this trade way too long, and I'm just going to take it off here soon. I think I would like this target up here. I want to take it off at the first area of prior selling, but it's just not quite giving it to me. There it is. I tried to work the exit for a point, but then I chase it because I'm like, get me out of this fucking trade. I've been in it for way too long. So, in hindsight, I do think this ends up going to my target. Yeah, but I still think that's a good exit. If I'm in a trade for too long, just get out of it. Entry good. I'm gonna say exit good, just because in hindsight I could have held longer, but like this is compression, dude, and I do not want to sit around in that all day. That's not a good habit. Conservative because we had the slip favor. I was clear on the trend. We have balance above us. We have the trend favor. We had some decent high nodes below us. So this will be a green star. Next trade, reversal. Man, doesn't this look like a reversal trade, guys? Doesn't this look like an awesome reversal trade? I think I'm fading this big buyer, which granted in a reversal environment is a good indication, that's a good signal. If we're putting in huge 40, 50 point ranges, and at the very top of a range you see a 500 lot buyer come in and he gets trapped, like boy oh boy, that is a good reversal setup. We're not doing that. Like we're grinding upwards. So I'm not using context here. I keep trying these reversal trades and they're just not working. So my entry's probably around here, this 49.75. And that should have been my signal to get out, because look at this, 500 comes in, 500 comes out, and Fat Cat even says that. He's like, oh, well, he's out now. That should be my signal to get out of the trade, but I don't. I hold it like a jackass and take a loss at 51. So, Red Star, surprise, surprise. This is still aggressive. I'm still aggressively holding. There was no slip range here when I entered. I'm confused because I'm shorting an uptrend. And I'm gonna say no factors of support. I mean, there's technically balance below us, but like that doesn't really mean anything when we're just grinding up. So I'm gonna tag that as no factors of support. That's pretty much it. Next trade, continuation long for a win. There's a bit of a slip range here. I like that there's a slip low down here. I like that there's a trapped seller there that is now flat. I like that there's a good high node support below us. I get the entry at 49.50, and I basically just want the slip range high. Although I'm going to take it off here because a big buyer just came in. I don't like it when big buyers get trapped. So I would rather just play it conservative and take the trade off there. So I'm even just going to copy the tags from this one because this is what a good continuation trade should look like. Not quite A plus though, because again, this slip range is kind of stale at this point. I would like there is kind of a fresh slip range. It's just not perfect. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's a good trade, but um, do I have a tag for squeeze? Yes, I do. I'm gonna put the squeeze tag on there because that 500 lot he got squeezed, which I like. That's context. That's context that sellers are getting squeezed to the upside. So that'll be a multiple factor support trade. Next one, reversal. Yay, more reversals. Even after I just took a good trade too. That sucks, man. I'm like fading myself. It's a horrible habit. So it's been 5 seconds. My entry's probably here around 50. And I think this trade does work temporarily. Yeah, so if I'm short 50, I mean 47, that's 3 points of profit. But again, my contentment, I'm just like, oh, it's a reversal trade. That means we're gonna go all the way down. And it's just that's not the environment we're in. I'm trying to trade a strategy that's not working in this current environment. And that's the biggest takeaway from today. Confused, aggressive, no slip range, because I don't think we had a slip range at that point of entry, and not really any factors of support either. So I'm gonna put no factors. Next trade is a continuation long, but I take it off for a break even, and I think I add to this one, which is not necessarily outside of my strategy. I just want to have a cushion first. And the problem here is that I think I have a P&L cushion because my continuations are doing really well. What I don't realize is that because I've been taking all these stupid reversals, I'm actually red on the day at this point. So if this was trade 28, where's trade 28? 24. Yeah, trade 28. I'm down 150 bucks. But I've tricked myself into thinking that I have a good P&L cushion because my continuation trades are working really well, but my reversal trades are horrible. So trading a 2 lot is something that I only do when I have a P&L cushion, and I didn't have one here. I thought I did because my continuations were working well, but I didn't. And honestly, I think I should have taken the trade off here. I have a 1 lot mini on right now. I should have taken it off at the slip range high. So I think there's a lack of contentment here. I add, so you can see I'm now at 2 lots. And I try to get an exit 52.50 for the point, but then I take it off for a break even because I'm like, oh fuck, I'm on 2 lots. I can't let this trade go against me. And then you could see that it technically would have worked, but I mean that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ticks of drawdown on a 2 lot. That's a little spicy. That's a little bit of spicy risk for my liking. So should not have added. I'm gonna red star this one. Aggressive scalping. I did have good clarity and it was a good setup, but I should not be adding on this one. I did have the slip favor. I'm not going to tag entry and exit because I should not have added. Factors of support. I had high node. There was still balance above us. I kept asking Fat Cat, have we taken it back yet? Have we taken it back yet? And he's like, no, it's still there. We're still taking it. So I think those will be the only 2 factors of support for this trade. Next one is a reversal. I'm still taking reversals. I think my mindset here is like, oh, the long didn't work, so it must be short. So I get a reversal short on here, and I think it's an instant loser. I think I take it off somewhere around here. So I'm just going to copy the tags from my last reversal trade, paste it in there. Red star. Continuation long, winner. Let's watch it. There is technically a slip range here. You can kind of see it on the 30-second chart. We are in a slip range. Again, I would like to see a slip range develop here first because now I'm buying on the first pullback. Like this is a pretty straight down move and I'm going long on the left side of the V. I would want to wait and enter maybe when it comes back above 51.25. So that I would have entered here, like right now. And that would have been a much better trade. And look, I put an order on because I want to add to it again because I think I have a P&L cushion going, but I don't. I don't think I end up getting the fill on that second order. So I pull it. I get some lag because it's Sierra chart and they always lag my orders. Slip range high. I'm kind of overstaying my welcome here. I should be taking this off right now. There we go. So I'm going to yellow star this one because my entry is early. My exit is good. I'm going to tag this aggressive because I tried to add a lot there and I should not be doing that. I had the slip favor. I was clear. We had balance above us still. We had high node support. We had trend favor. Oh, I need to make sure I'm putting trend favor on these other ones. Okay, I am. And yeah, I'm gonna call that a yellow star because it's a decent setup from a objective point of view, but I should not be adding. And I think I continue to do that at the end of the session. You can actually see I have a 2-lot trade there that worked, but again, I've tricked myself into thinking I have a P&L cushion. I want to avoid checking my P&L physically throughout the session, but I at a certain point as a trader, you can't ignore it anymore. I think for developing traders, it's good to hide your P&L and to just focus on like how many ticks you're getting. But at a certain point, when you're managing an account, when you're bankrolling, when you're trying to keep your P&L steady, I think you do kind of have to check your P&L throughout the day. I should have checked my P&L because again, my dumb monkey brain thinks that I have a P&L cushion below me, but I don't. I'm actually red on the day because of these reversal trades. This is another continuation long. We still got the nice slip range. I try to get in it right there, but then I remember I'm like, oh yeah, let's wait. Let's wait and make sure that we get on the right side of the V here. Right side of the V. I get the entry at 51.50. I don't really like that there's so many buyers trapped above me. And if memory recalls, I do try to take this off for 3 ticks at 52.25. Because in my experience, those trapped buyers could turn into sellers at any moment. It looks like I give some ticks back because that's 5 ticks MFE, and I give 2 of them back. Yeah. So, I would say that's a good trade. I don't have much wrong with that. It was pretty conservative. I took it off at the first target, or at least I tried to. I had slip favor. I was clear. My entry was good because I waited for the right side of the V. Had I gotten filled on that first order I placed, that would have been a bad entry. I waited for the right side of the V, which is what I should do. My exit's good because I took it off at a conservative target. I've got high node favor, balance favor, trend favor. And I think that's about it. Yeah. Next trade, continuation short. So this was the first change in character we had throughout the day where we did put in a very sharp move. We got our first bright red candle of the session. There was a lot of trapped buyers up here. We have a whole bunch of balance below us now. Fat Cat said we took back about like half or 3/4 of the balance that was up here. So in my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's like a failed reclaim. Like I do think that um, a down move makes sense at this point in the session. Um, Continuation shorts are hard though, man. I've never been very good at continuation shorts. I think I should be taking it off here for 2 or 3 ticks because just the same way trapped buyers work is the same as trapped sellers. Like there's pretty big selling below me and they're trapped right now. I should be taking it off here for 3 ticks. I even get 4 ticks out of it. I think I overstayed my welcome on this one big time. Yeah, and it comes out the top. So good entry, held way too long. So this will be a yellow star because it is technically a good setup, but I held too long. My entry was good because I waited for the right side of the V. You can see I waited for that first red candle before I entered. And there's a slip range. It technically violates the top of the slip range, but it's still a slip range. This is pretty aggressive. I'm at the bottom of a really sharp downward move with reclaim against me. Doesn't mean it's a bad setup, but it just means that I gotta be tight. I gotta be super tight. Um, Pretty clear. Um, at this point, I did not have trend favor because this could just be a temporary pullback. I do have balance below. There's a whole bunch of it kind of works both ways where there's balance above and there's balance below. You kind of just need to piece together the context to know which direction you should be trading. We had some high nodes as defense. I think that's about it. So yeah, yellow star. It was worth taking. Um, I just should have taken the conservative target for 3 ticks. Reversal long. So all my reversals have been to the short side today. I had an idea for a reversal long here because we put in this pretty sharp reclaim. There's a whole bunch of trapped sellers down here, but is today a reversal market? No. Today is not a reversal market, so this trade should not have been placed. This is a continuation market. And you could make the argument that this is just a higher time frame continuation, but I'm not trading it that way. So I think I was long somewhere around here, like 47. It comes up and then immediately sucks back down. And I think I take it off here on the fresh low. So I'm just going to, if I paste, it should still be, yeah, reversal. Confused. No factors of support, really. I mean, I do technically have reclaim, but it doesn't really matter right now. That'll be a red star. All right, so last 2 trades of the day are both continuation short because we are now putting in a pretty steady downward move. We have a slip range here. We tested once, we came back down, we're testing it twice. We're defending with these big sell nodes here. I wait for right side of the V. I do think I take some heat on this one. I think it pulls back on me a little bit more. And I think I take it here at the bottom because it's struggling a little bit. Oh, no, it comes back on me. I try to add to it, which again is a big no-no. I think if I was doing really well today, I think that is actually warranted because we're in a downward sloping slip range and we've got a really high support here. But I'm not. If anything, I'm break even on the day right now. Oh, and then I try to take it flat key it for a nice win. That is a really nice trade. Continuation shorts are really hard for me, so I'm gonna ignore the fact that I tried to add to it. I shouldn't be doing that. I think that's more of a psychology problem than it is a technical problem. But just objectively, that was a green star trade. It was conservative. I had the slip favor. I was clear. My entry was good. I think I held too long. I think I should have taken it at the first break, which would have been a smaller P&L, but it would have been less heat. It would have been an easier trade. Um, we had balance favor. We had high node favor. Um, I mean, we are trading below the moving average at this point. I do think this is technically a trend. Even though the prior trend far outweighs it, I think on the 30-second chart, this is pretty a solid trend. And I think that's good for that one. Last trade of the day, 2 lots because I'm all fired up. I'm like, oh, I must be up like a couple hundred right now. I should add to my trade, but that is not the case. Um, there's a downward sloping slip range, technically a channel, whatever you want to call it. Um, we do overshoot the high a little bit. and I'm kind of at the mid of the slip range. I don't hate the fact that I'm at the mid of the slip range right now because of how many sellers are supporting me. There's like 2, 4, 6, 8. There's like 13, 1,400 lots of offers here that are supporting my trade right now. And I'm also on the right side of the V, so I can't really complain too much there. I go ahead and add, which I should not be doing because I do not have a P&L cushion, but it does end up working for me. We are also confirming a smaller slip range here. It's going against me a little bit, but the reason I'm not taking it off is because this is still offers. Like, we're still stacking offers here. If we pulled up like that and then these offers were starting to get absorbed and like bids were coming in, I would have taken the trade off, but I was comfortable holding that because it wasn't budging. Those offers weren't budging. And then I take it at the bottom of the slip range. So again, objectively, that was a good trade. Entry good, exit good. Conservative scalp, slip favor, clear. I had high nodes. I had balance below. We were in a trend at this point. I just shouldn't have added, and that is kind of a psychology issue, or even just like a systematic issue. Ari, do you think you use Sierra chart, right? Do you think you could send me that indicator if you don't mind? Just because I do think it's a good idea to manage your P&L throughout the session, and I wasn't doing that today, which I want to do moving forward. Oh, I'll get a quick stretch in. Um, so to recap, let's filter out red stars. Oh God, that's depressing. It feels good. This does feel good knowing that when I am trading well, I'm trading well. Like I have edge and I'm hitting good trades. But it's depressing knowing I could have been up $900 if I just wasn't trading those bad setups. You know, those setups I just should not have been in. And there was a lot of that today. Those bad setups. It's an ongoing psychology issue. I'm not gonna fix it overnight, but um, I use ATAS. You can feed it into Claude to convert for Sierra chart. I would appreciate that, man. I'll send you a friend request. Thanks, man. Um, so what did I do well today? I think my continuation trades, once I realized we were in a continuation market, I was doing a really good job of um, being patient. I wasn't trading every single continuation setup that presented itself. I was being pretty selective, at least for the majority of them. There were a couple red star continuation trades, um, but for the most part, I was waiting for a slip range to develop, and I was waiting for the right side of the V. I wasn't buying the first pullback. Um, and if there's one key takeaway that I should take as far as continuation trades go, it's just don't buy the first pullback, or don't sell the first pullback either. Just wait for it to confirm. Wait for a slip range to confirm. Wait for the right side of the V, because when you combine those three things, a high node, a slip range, and the right side of the V, maybe a fourth thing, which would be trend, you get a really high edge, high expected value setup. And clearly, I'm doing a really good job of trading those. I've had a really good couple of weeks. However, I was barely profitable today when you take away when you factor in everything, which brings me to things I need to do better. Um, I need to do a better job of identifying what kind of regime we're in. It was so obvious today. I don't think there was a single moment today where you could definitively say we were in a reversal market. Because even this downward move off the open, like that is pretty grindy. You know, we're chopping, we're grinding, we're making fresh lows, we're putting in ranges, we're grinding. Like even for this brief 15 minutes where we were downtrending, that's not a reversal market. That, if anything, that's continuation short, which it's fine to attempt a continuation short. Um, but on the flip side, like when we do reverse, like that's not a huge, sharp, volatile reversal. This is slow, rangy, grindy price action. That's continuation. That's got continuation written all over it. And guess what? Continuations cooked today. Continuations were awesome. You know, I even when you factor in the bad continuation trades, I still would have been up 537 off just continuation trades. It's the fact that I kept attempting reversals in this market. Like this is slow, grindy, directional movement. There is no way a reversal is gonna work in this environment. Even when it does come time where it reverses, like that's a little fart. Like that's a little toot. You know, it poops out 10 points. Even if I fast forward to the price action I'm not trading, like these are not good reversals. It's still grindy. And even as we speak, it's grinding upwards, you know? If I pull up a chart from last week, for example, let's move this over. I mean, look at these moves. Like this is a reversal market. Boom, boom, boom. We're putting in these huge 50, 100-point moves, clear tops and bottoms, clear V flushes, you know? Now we're just grinding. Like like this is grindy price action. I need to change my mindset. Reversals were working really well last week. Boy, were they working. But now we're in a continuation market, whether it be long or short. The reason I developed this strategy of continuations is so that I could capture this grindy directional price action. And I need to lay off the gas with my reversals and I need to lean into my continuations. Even if the continuations aren't working and I'm taking a red day, that's fine. I just can't exacerbate that red day by also trading a strategy that doesn't work. That doesn't mean I shouldn't probe with reversals and maybe try a reversal once or twice. That I think that's fine and warranted. But I mean, look how many reversal trades I had today. 15. 15 reversal trades today. That is an insane amount of probing on a strategy that is clearly not working. I need to lay off the gas. If we're in an environment where reversals aren't working, I should have like 3, you know, maybe 2 reversal trades that clearly aren't working instead of just trying desperately and trying desperately and trying desperately to get it to work because clearly it's not, you know. Had I just stuck to continuations today, um it would have been amazing. I would have an amazing session today had I just leaned into continuations and laid off the gas a little bit on the reversals and I didn't account for that today. I didn't factor in the regime and the current price action, like macro price action that we're in right now. Because like this is grinding, dude. It's just grinding upwards. So that's my biggest key takeaway overall today is that I just need to calm down, zoom out a little bit, um, take into consideration where the volatility is, how we're trading, how are we respecting trends, you know, and just trade what I know what to do, what I know best how to do. I should phrase it that way. Because if I would have done that today, it would have been an incredible P&L day. Um, so things I need to change moving forward. I should have a max number of attempts, whether it be continuations or reversals. I think if I attempt 3 reversal trades and they're not working, you're done trading reversals for the rest of the day because it's clearly not working. Now, I also need to factor in that the open price action, like the first 10 minutes of the day, might be different than how we trade for the rest of the day. So, to add a second rule, I shouldn't be using all those bullets in the first 10 minutes. I shouldn't be taking 3 reversal trades in the first 10 minutes and being like, "Oh, well, it's not a reversal day." I should be pulse checking. I should be patient. I should be taking my time with probing the market for those reversal trades. And by like 10 o'clock or something like that, 30 minutes after the open, I should know what environment we're in and which strategy I should be leaning into more. Because I also had the inverse problem last week. Again, I'll pull up this chart. When we were whipsawing everywhere, bang, bang, boom, bam, boom, bang, I was trading continuations. And the continuations weren't working. And it was eating away at the P&L that I could have had if I was leaning into reversal trades. Now it goes. I should add some context here that not every market is clearly gonna be reversal or clearly continuation. We're gonna have environments where it's a little bit of mix of both, and that's fine. I think there is a universe where I might trade a session with an equal amount of reversal trades and an equal amount of continuation trades. But how rare is that? That's got to be a 1 in 100 session where they both work. Chances are 99% of the time we're either going to be reversal or we're either going to be continuation. Maybe a little bit of variance between the two. I'm not saying I should completely eliminate reversals when continuations are working or vice versa, but I should be leaning into one over the other and not stupidly attempting over and over and over again to try and get that other strategy to work too. Because that's just asking too much. These strategies are inverse of each other. You can't have a continuation market where reversals also work. You can't have a reversal market where continuations also work. They are kind of mutually exclusive. You do kind of have to trade one or the other. And I failed to do that today. So I think those are the takeaways from today. Um, it's 12 o'clock. I gotta get running. Do you guys have anything you want to chime in with? Any questions for me? Call me names, call me slurs, talk talk sensually into my ear. All right. Didn't think so. So I'm gonna end the recording there.